Legion.
What is up, comic fam, and welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday night. That means this is At Weeks in the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. There's some really good stuff to talk about, from new comic reviews to the Book of Boba Fett, aka The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, and the newest episode of Peacemaker. But before I get into any of that, check this out. Let's give a thank you to Big Time Collectibles for sponsoring the monthly Legion loot box for the channel members, as well as Justin Comics. If you need anything cleaned or pressed, be sure to hit him up on Instagram. Use that promo code WeAreLegion and take advantage of that buy two, get one free special. All right, guys, let's get right into it and bring in my guests for tonight. They're not really my guests. There's family. We got my heterosexual life partner from the Great White North. What is up, Chris?
What is up? Life is good.
I know people normally plug stuff toward the end of shows, but I think more people catch the front end of shows, especially on the rewind. So go ahead and tell everybody what they need to be paying attention with you right now.
You need to be subscribed to my channel. I'm making a big push towards 600 subscribers. I got a bunch of prizes I'm going to be giving away, 3 or 4 slabs, 3 or 4 artist-based prize packs. He's pointing at himself, so I'm presuming something's going to happen from this guy.
I'll be giving away some stuff as well for it.
But yeah, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. And thanks, Chip Getler, for a brand new logo. He hit it out of the park.
And also, everybody, the video is up now. You can go to the video that's posted on his channel. It's not hard to find. It's 600 subscriber giveaway. The thumbnail helps find it, all that. And you can enter for some of the prizes already in that video. So be sure to go check it out. Sub him up. All that. Yeah, it looks just like that. It's not hard to find. There's a big 600 on it. But yeah, be sure to do all that stuff. And then we got our 10-gallon lovable lug from the biggest state known to man. Ryan, what is up?
What is up, man? What an intro.
Yeah, missed you guys, man. I feel a lot better this week.
Yeah, back together again.
I can breathe. I'm kind of runny nose, but that's a plus. I'm not congested anymore.
Right.
So I feel good. You got the sniffles, but that's a win. That's a huge win.
Yes.
Winning, just like the Bengals did today.
Yeah, that was funny in the chat earlier. Winning.
So yeah, for those that are wondering, Mark doesn't pay that much attention to football.
I do these days, thanks to all of y'all.
But in Mark's private paid member chat,
that's not a thing.
Myself and Nick and a few other Sector 2815 and a few other guys are always talking football in there. Beckerman and Burke. And last week was a big thing with the Bills and the Chiefs. But today the Bengals and the Chiefs went at it. And, Chiefs went up really big, really early. And Mark just made the comment, well, who's winning? And then I put, Charlie Sheen's winning. And then threw up a GIF and, Yeah,
that was hilarious. And for the record, there is not a paid member chat. That's definitely not included in the description of the bonuses. But I do throw everybody into an Instagram chat for the sake of sharing links, promoting their own channels, getting to know everybody else. It's I remember it's a good way that I started meeting people in the comic community. It's not a paid perk. That's just something I do because it's beneficial. I drop links for when I do the invites like on Fridays and everything. That makes it very easy for me and not have to go send it out to everyone individually. But yeah, I learned from other people that the paid aspect of it is not necessary. It puts unneeded pressure on it. So I'm managing multiple group chats and to include all the members possible, all the members period are in them. If you got an Instagram, you've been put in one. Yeah. So let's say hey to the chat. And speaking of channel members, we're starting with a new channel member right off the bat, Justin from Justin Comics, the channel sponsor himself. is now giving to the channel. Like that's blowing my mind. I appreciate that, Justin. I've already got him in the group chat. I already shared it on Instagram where he joined. So if you're on Instagram, be sure to go over there and give him a hearty hello. And we got another channel member, Ruby G, White Tiger, Cool Common Collected, throwing those custom emojis. Now that is a part of the benefits of being a member. Chop and Drop 2013. What is going on? Hope y'all had a great weekend. I did.
One of the nicest
been
guys
very
on YouTube.
work heavy. Yeah, Chop is one of the most like supportive guys I've seen out there. He's like another Ruby G. He hits everyone's videos. And it looks like Dan Blue Hellions has renewed his membership as well. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Dan. Awesome sauce. It's good timing too because it's the end of the month. Tomorrow I'll be going through and grabbing all the names of the members in the upper Legion tier. There are 2 tiers, and the higher tier gets you into the monthly giveaway drawing, which I'll be showing off those books later in the show too. Since this is the last Sunday of the month, next Sunday we'll be doing the giveaway for it. Paul Rogers, channel member and LCS owner. What is going on? Speaking of Paul's, there's Sector 2815 himself, another channel member, throwing those custom emojis. We got Comic Vet in there with that awesome new channel logo. That Chip Gettler did a fantastic job. It's very Canadian. I don't know if y'all could tell from there, but there's a maple syrup leaf behind that gentleman there.
There is a star above what I'm presuming. Like I asked Chip to kind of like make the character kind of look like me, so I made sure that there was a maple leaf and a star to represent both the United States and Canada.
No. Oh yeah, tripod time. That's what I'm talking about. It is tripod time. Or unless it's a bad thing. Oh no, not the tripod.
Yeah, it means we all have nothing better to do.
New logos looking snazzy. Remy Q Studios. I'm still going bad. Remy Q Studios is in the house. What is up? We are Legion. We got John Norris. It's Digger Jim's brother right there, who just started up an Instagram as well. It's Brother John's Comics on Instagram. Be sure to go check him out. Give him a follow. He started out already posting some great stuff in there. That Golden Age series is fantastic. I love that series. Flo Dameron, what is going on? Let's go. Another channel member. Steven C., another channel member. Hardcore Legionnaire right there. We got White Shadow himself, channel member. Appreciate that. I'm officially off work in time for one of the best shows on YouTube. Could I be dreaming? You could be. You could be.
We're not going to wake you up.
No, I'm not. I'm not. We got Pops Attic in there, another channel member,
Pops.
And father to one of the people on the panel. Another awesome Instagram. If you're looking to buy any awesome books for super cheap prices, hit him up. Warlord, what is happening? Actual Dracula's in the chat. Good evening to you. We are Legion channel member. Miss So, another channel member. Hello to Miss So. How are you tonight? People saying hello. People saying hello. Ryan, hey Ryan, sups up. There it is. Yeah, how long it's been since I've seen a sups up. It's been way too long, my man.
Way too long.
Way too long. Silver Scorpion, what is going on? Hope you're having a great night. Another person with a great channel. I met him through K Titus. He sent him my way in one of his shout out videos. One of the most effective shout out people in the community.
This is true.
Yeah. Dale of Suspense, what is going on, brother? Channel member. Throwing those custom emojis. Appreciate that. Boom, boom. New channel member, House of L Comics. What is up? That is awesome. I appreciate that. Most people probably won't know.
Great handle.
Yeah, I talk to him a lot on Instagram. We share parts of our collection and talk comics with it. With a name like House of L Comics, obviously we're probably gonna have something in common. You know what I mean?
A lot of respect.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He was showing me some of his Jane covers earlier this week as well. He's got some bangers. I appreciate that channel membership. I'll be reaching out to you on Instagram and all that good stuff either after the show or tomorrow, depending on how worn out I am. It kind of gets a little late for all that. So I have a letter for you. Need to meet at Jay's. That sounds so cryptic.
Right?
Just send her the letter. I appreciate that, House of L.
It's literally what mailboxes were designed for.
What is up, DJ Link's channel member in the building? Hello, fellow humans. That makes me think that you might not be when you greet people like that.
Because you have a butterfly.
Mars Comics channel member, what is happening? Got people welcoming House of L. Awesome, 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 awesome. Dale, chop, chop. All those custom emojis, I love seeing those. A lot of time, effort, and energy went into making them. Not on my part, but on Tyler's part. It was a group effort. Lee and Tyler worked for hours getting all this stuff correct. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. I'm at work, but hanging out with y'all a bit. Awesome, awesome. K Titus is the shout out god. All right, I think I made it to the bottom. Said hello to everybody. There's a lot of people to say hello to. I appreciate everyone coming in right off the bat. It's been a good week for comic stuff, guys. From books to shows to I even conversed with Donnie Cates in my DMs this week.
Nice.
Yeah, he was actually pretty nice.
But it didn't last.
Yeah, no, it lasted. Like, he was cool. I don't know if I told Ryan that. Like, on that, he posted about the Hulk book and asked where his Hulk fans were at, and I gave like a critical but not negative review of it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, like it's felt like violence without substance. I'm looking forward to the story getting started. I'm a little bummed out there's no consideration for the previous run moving forward, and I said that I wasn't going to bail on the book. I'm not going to bail on the character and assign it a lifelong Hulk reader. And he responded to that. And I kept going back to the post and checking it. And it started getting a lot of likes on it that it top chatted it. Like, it put it at the top. And when I went back and looked the last time, I had like 20 something likes on it. Then it got taken down. So I sent him a direct message like, hey man, I hope that I didn't offend you in any way. That wasn't my intention. And if you ever got the time or want to, I'd be happy to have you on my channel and we can talk. I'd love to talk crossover with you and pick your brain about that, because I legitimately enjoy that book. Like, that second arc is fantastic. And he responded, no worries. That there's just other people kind of getting really negative and argumentative in the chat elsewhere in it, and he didn't want to leave it up for that reason. And he was pretty cool about it. So I thought that was pretty cool of him.
It's not good.
In all sincerity, I enjoyed.
Sorry, Donnie. It's not as good as what Thor is. Like, come on.
I enjoyed the third issue more than the rest.
Yeah.
The third issue has been my favorite one so far because it's starting to seed a story. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not off-brand for the Hulk. The Starship thing is still, like I mentioned, I'm hoping that'll be temporary. That he's not going to try to carry that very long through the run. But they're seeding like this character. I think it's called Titan, like the Null Hulk god or whatever, and that's kind of on brand for the Hulk. You know, it happened in a subconscious. You know, the many different aspects of the Hulk subconscious is part of the most like appealing thing for Hulk readers toward Hulk most of the time. You know, like, he smashes stuff and he has these crazy cool personalities. You know, so we're going to get to see something that's kind of like ruling over all that. We saw like a major breakdown of it in Al Ewing's run and how they work with each other, against each other, and for each other. Well, like, now we're going to see something that might be like a puppeteer to all that. So we'll see. Like, that has potential. That's a potential story, you know, and we're just now getting into it being seeded. So they drew everyone in with all the excessive action and the hollow, shallow blood and guts, which they took some fun shots at some other properties and everything. Now it's time to tell a story.
Boom.
Are the Voyages and Starship Hulk? There we go, where no fan has gone before. Exactly.
Enough said. Like,
Enough said. Enough said. Yeah, Bake the Snake up in here. What is going on, my man? Humble brag. Yeah, just a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool that he responded.
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot of
really like Donnie
creative
Cates as like a personality. I find his writing is a little inconsistent, especially for like a superstar writer at the moment. You know, like
yes, custom emojis. Yes, they are awesome, right? I feel like there's some cool ones too. Yeah, the classic DC Comics logo, the Superman one, the 1960s Batman one, got some Adam West love in there. You know, it's got to put some time, effort, and energy into them. Got the Hulk fist in there. I need to put an Enterprise in there. So we can do Starship.
Right. Starship. A whole green enterprise.
I should put a bye Nick in there. Like, bye Nick. And we all know why.
What is going on, Pocan Joe? And well, I could say channel member, but his other YouTube channel is a channel member, but channel member. Appreciate it. Pocan the man he is. He most definitely is. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, comic news wise, I don't really know what's going on, man. I'll be honest with y'all, in terms of comic news, I don't think I caught much.
So I saw an ad in the new Thor that I just finished. There is another Hulk story coming outside of Donny Cates. Again, surprise, surprise, it's going to be another Batman story very shortly. And just to continue, just more Spider-Man news. Ben Reilly's getting his own monthly, or just kickstarted, and Peter's getting a new volume going back to issue number 1 as we approach Legacy 900. That's about it. And really we got a new Doctor Strange coming.
Oh yeah, I do want to get into that real quick. I want to go back to the first thing you said. You said there's another Hulk story coming. Isn't it called like the Grand Designs or something like that?
Yeah. Give me a sec. I will pull it up.
Yeah. So I think it's supposed to be like 3 issues or something, and it's kind of like going back and just like encapsulating the history of the Hulk to current kind of thing, which I think that sounds fantastic. That'll be fun. It's always fun doing those recap kind of things.
Are those like the other history of the DC universe?
No.
Like,
I don't. Are you talking about format wise?
Could be interesting.
I mean, like, I don't even know if format wise, as much as just like kind of like giving you like a historical perspective on like kind of streamlining the history of this character.
Yeah, I think I do believe that's what they're doing. Kind of because it's going through
like that, like having a more like historical perspective on like these characters, so you can kind of get caught up, you know.
Yeah, but with the other history of the DC universe, that's a horrible example because that's like a very very biased take on the history of the DC universe from a very narrow lens of an individual character. Where I think like this is supposed to be like more of just like a history lesson. I was thinking other history of the DC universe when you said that from the 80s when they had just reformatted the DC universe post crisis and had to reintroduce everyone to the lay of the land.
Yeah, not even like the format necessarily. I just like the idea of having like kind of these historical perspective books that kind of like, you know, streamline the history, because that's one of the best things about like YouTube and a lot of those channels is like they kind of take all this stuff and they're like, yeah, there was this moment where they were doing this, but then they kind of like retcon that a little bit later down the line, and so like you can get this like like this history where you're like, okay, now it all kind of makes sense. But like wading through the muck in the moment, you know, you're like, I really don't know what the history of this character is.
Yeah, and Chris, you mentioned in passing that Hulk is still not as good as Thor, but you saw right where Donny Cates is doing a crossover coming soon. It's what's it called? Like was it called Banner versus Thor or something?
Yeah,
something along those lines. And I remember seeing the ad was set up like a Street Fighter video game, like with Thor looking up at Starship Hulk looking down. So I'll be picking that up. It's Hulk, and let's see how this Hulk fares against Thor, because those are 2 Donny Cates properties. The last 2 times,
Thor,
God tier Thor, like what is it? Odin tier Thor went up against.
He's All Father now, right?
Yeah, All Father Odin or Thor got his jaw broken with 1 hit from the Hulk, and then the second time Hulk drug him through the street.
We'll get into what happens in this issue of Thor, but Thor is not in physical good shape. I can't see how he's going to be taking on anyone, let alone the Hulk. Like if they use this universe Thor.
Did I tell you what? Then that last fight toward the end of Immortal,
the restaurant,
Thor buried his axe into Hulk's arm and cut him open. And Hulk looked at the wound and looked at Thor and just slammed it on his head, and it healed really quick. And he started suffocating him inside of his healing arm. Like it was
Ewing, my goodness, it's just tremendous. Just tremendous. I just showed an ad for Carnage 1. Normally, I don't get into the whole symbiote game that much when it comes to stories, but Rom V is going to be taking over Carnage, That could be a very interesting story.
So that's like we're seeing a lot of how there's a large stable of writers working on ASM. It looks like they've kind of narrowed it down just to Zeb Wells, right? That's who's going to be doing it?
Zeb Wells is going to be handling Peter's ASM moving forward once they hit go issue 1. He did do this particular, or did he do this one? No, Jed McKay did this one. It's this Wednesday's Spider-Man that Zeb Wells is going to be writing. But JR is taking over the interiors, and I'm going to give it a shot. I'm definitely going to give it a shot.
So it'll be called Banner War, he said. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Romita's art in there. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea. And just like when any kind of announcement happens, it always brings out a lot of fair-weathered fans. That people come out like, I love Romita. I love Romita. And like, do you though? Like, look, I want to hear y'all say this after they put that issue on the shelf and you see that art. Because I love Romita. You know what I'm saying? I'm not crazy. I see why people don't. But I've been saying it since I've had this channel. Definitely love the guy. It's like Nick's Kicks and Comics. He loves Romita Jr. Like you see it for what it is and you enjoy it. It's art. So a lot of people like Peach Momoko. I don't, but I don't think they're crazy for liking it.
Yeah. Some of Peach's work is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Some, again,
her
flavor.
Her like pencil ink work that she's done, like tattoo designs and stuff. It looks like, man, it's insane. So when she gets watercolors and makes superheroes, they just look. It doesn't look like the graphic design in my head. So it's just that's all it is. It's just.
Let's just touch on Peach for a sec. I got Peach's latest offering was from this Wednesday, and then one of her most famous pieces. So this is probably one of her most famous pieces, but this is what just came out this past Wednesday. Like there's very little similarity between the two.
Yeah, it's vastly different. I like that Black Winter one. That looks really cool.
Yeah. But
it looks like she drew it in a comic book style, and the other one looks like her normal style.
Well, yeah, obviously we all know what this is an homage to, but
Beta Ray Bill, right?
Right. And but again, she has two distinct different styles in my opinion.
Yeah. Hulk Grand Design, that's what it's called. Grand Design.
2 issues.
2 issues, 40 pages each, covers 500 issues of Hulk history. Wow, that's going to be the Cliff Notes, if I ever heard of Cliff Notes. Boom. All right, let's call it to the chat. That was the next thing you mentioned. We'll be getting a new Doctor Strange. So, man, you called this a long time ago. Mm-hmm. You said that like months and months ago, you said you think Brother Voodoo would have been a potential good candidate or one of the kids from the Academy. So I did see some of the cover art for the upcoming. It's just called Strange, right? Strange
just
number 1.
Yeah.
And it's a female with silverish colored hair and a classic version of the Doctor Strange's outfit. So I'm assuming that's our new Sorcerer Supreme.
Yes, the new Sorcerer Supreme. I kind of thought like Kelly Thompson kind of teased it about 8 or 9 months ago with Captain Marvel potentially becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. There was 3 or 4 issues where Captain Marvel actually donned a cape, donned an outfit to look like a Sorcerer Supreme. But obviously Captain Marvel, the storylines moved on from that arc, and now we have someone who actually kind of looks like Captain Marvel, but obviously it's not. I know there's a bunch of variants that have now kind of hit the online retailer sites or whatever, and some of them look really cool. Like I picked one up already, so I'll be getting it. But we'll see. Like I guess the big spec game is at what point does this new Sorcerer Supreme arrive? Because the first issue is being billed as the first appearance of the new ongoing villain. So I'm presuming then the Sorcerer Supreme, whoever she is going to be showing up before Strange number 1. But again, this all has ties to the whole Ditko versus Marvel, court battle that's going on. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and to this, I don't know if I know that there was a recent one. I don't know if it's the recent Black Panther one or one that came out maybe 6+ months ago. There was one of Black Panther where he was like up in a tree, not where he's like crouched on like jungle floor level, but up in a tree. I thought was really, really cool. Looked like a painting you would hang up in your house. See,
she does do good stuff.
I was excited for Star Trek Hulk. I thought it would be based off an inner piece coming out of Immortal. The brawn protects and gets the scientist's place, but it's got this out of place metal tone. Yeah, it hasn't found its stride yet. I'm sure it will find a stride. I mean, that just is going to happen. It just hasn't found it yet. Hasn't found it yet at all.
He just looks silly. He just looks silly.
Yeah, we got to get him out of it. And remember, that was like my biggest protest before we even got to it. Like, I saw the design that they were going for. I'm like, they're going to put a jetpack on this dude, put a Weapon X helmet on him, put him in a leotard, and put him in space. It's going to be goofy. And that's exactly what we've gotten for 3 issues. So I called that, like 6 months ahead of time? Like, this is going to be bad.
Very spot on.
I think Otley let that leak or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. What it was those early leaks of an Immortal Hulk spoiler cover. It was like one of the issue number 50s, the final issues had like cover leaks or something. But yeah, and then once the free comic book day came out, and that pretty much solidified it. You know, like, because you see him steal the tech. He went to AIM and stole the tech that he was later going to be wearing, and we didn't even get to see him outfit himself with it. You know what I mean? You didn't see Banner like doing the work to like attach all this tech to him and make him what he is. He just starts out wrong. But did you see that Tynan is going to be a showrunner for the new Sandman universe? He's going to be writing Corinthian title.
So where does James Tynan have the time for any of this? Like this guy's got to be the busiest guy in pulp culture right now. Then, like, I know he's not on the franchise DC title anymore, but he still has a bunch of independents he's helming. He still has other stuff, and now he's taking on this, and something is killing the children, and somehow going to be is still in the middle of being optioned. Like, I obviously I would think Tynan would probably do a very good job with Neil Gaiman's Sandman, but all right,
that kind of seems like it's in his wheelhouse, right?
Yeah,
like again, I'm not anti-Tynan at all. I'm just anti-Tynan on DC superheroes for now. He did great on Detective back in the day. I've got Tynan Detective trades behind me. Like, loved it. I will read that, like I told you to begin with, Chris. After it hits the DC UI app, I'll read it. Till then, I'm going to give you crap about it. But
you're going to be like,
I read the first issue.
Oh, Chris, I love it so much. I'm going to buy the trade for you.
Dude, it's like a Deceased kind of thing, except instead of zombies,
we get like Deceased. It is not like Deceased. All right.
Is it ultra violent? Are they subverting our heroes into murderous demons of the night?
Neither.
Yeah. But it is interesting in the sense that, like, everything you think about, like Marvel Zombies or Deceased or any of that stuff, like, it's actually nothing like any of those.
Seriously, nothing.
It's actually more in the realm of like Alien, to be honest.
There's something bad going on, and you're witnessing it happen, and you're just like, "Oh no, not this person! Oh no, not this person!" And each one just gets brought into it, whether they make it or not. But this particular issue has one of my all-time favorite characters, John Constantine, show up.
Yeah.
So
he's always great in these Deceased style books.
So he has a lot of fun, especially when Dr. Fate shows up. So I'm telling you, DC versus vampires is not your typical DC horror stuff. It is very, very well done. It's very well crafted.
We're very issue well crafted. 4, right?
This is issue 4, yeah.
So it should be hitting the app any week now.
6 months, so you probably got 2 more issues to go.
Okay. What is going on, Tyler? We got Tyler from Whack Comics up in the chat, channel member. Appreciate that. There we go. Next big thing up, and this is next week, and this was highlighted today on Chris's channel on Two Cool Guys, Two Hot Picks. That was his blind hot pick going into next week. You want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, so this is Zeb Wells introducing a new female character in the Goblin chain. Obviously, we have Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. We even had the Red Goblin. Great potential character, kind of fizzled out, but that whole new volume kind of happened to the Red Goblin, so it's kind of got left in the wayside by the writer whose name I don't say anymore. But this one does have a little bit of spec to it.
No.
He's talking about football. But The character who will become the Goblin Queen is featured in this brand new ASM that we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. She's actually a clone, and we'll see where it goes, but it's shaping up to be a Ben Reilly rogue at this particular point, so we'll see how it plays out. It does have a handful of variants. Marvel actually didn't go overboard with this particular Goblin. We'll see how it goes.
Was she cameoed yet, or is this her first
not as the Goblin or the Queen Goblin or Goblin Queen, however they're going to play it, but the character who becomes the villain is front and center in the story. She's a member of the Beyond Corporation as a psychiatrist who's actually a clone of the original psychiatrist. So it's just a question of, is it the original or the clone that's going to become the Goblin Queen? Either way, when Spider-Man gets a brand new villain, for that hot minute, there is a little bit of spec value to it. We'll see if she sticks around. Because currently we don't have a Goblin other than Red Goblin in the ASM universe.
I want to say hey to Big Nashi's up in the building. What is going on? Always excited when I see you in the chat. Ghost Riders. Tyler bringing slabs. I agree, Chris. DC versus vampires is great. Those goblins. So that's pretty much that went pretty well for not really planning comic news ahead of time. There's just a lot of cool stuff on the foreseeable future.
Yeah. January's been a good month.
It has. It really has. Brian, did you get a chance to read up on anything this week?
Yeah. I was trying to get caught up, not quite there, but
ways to go.
But I'm caught up on Human Target, Superman 78. I read Peacemaker, Disturbing the Peace, and I was trying to get caught up on Action Comics, but all I read was 37 and 38, which was just like I really wish I got to 39, but
dude,
I'll definitely be getting that done because
Riccardo Frederici does the interiors on this one too. It is gorgeous from front to back. Remember all those black and white Batman variants I was collecting for a while? And as soon as I got them, I'm like, yes, and I put them on the wall. I'm like, this looks horrible. I got to take them all down now. Yeah, he did the interiors.
Oh wow, man! Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I don't know. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I don't know. Action Comics has been this War World saga. Like the way that it's like digging into and really establishing like a culture and a society and like a whole like way of life is just like top notch writing.
It is.
And I finished Swamp Thing. I read 8, 9, and 10, which apparently the only one I hadn't read was 10. So I was like, this is good. I'm all like recapped up now. So yeah, I finished that and like
strong too.
Yeah. I was really impressed with the way he wrapped it up and like it felt like conclusive enough. Like it felt like it was written in a way that was like conclusive enough that like this story is done, but like this character still exists in the universe, and so they can always like bring him back. And then
the next
obviously, yeah, like they had extended it out like another 6 issues. So but even had that not even happened, like it was so well put together, those 10 issues that like it just leaves it where like this character could like pop up anywhere, and you're like, okay, totally makes sense,
Did you read Swamp Thing Green Hell issue 1 that came out yet?
No, I haven't read that.
Oh my god.
That's
Lemire
what's his face?
Oh my Doug
Mr. Canada.
art does it, man.
Yeah.
Chris, you got some books you want to show off? I know Ryan does the digital.
Okay. Yeah.
Real quick, what is going on, Wheelchair Superhero 87? How are you doing tonight, Kyle?
So before I begin with the stuff I picked up, the weeklies, I did pick up the 5-pack for Something's Healed the Children 1 through 5, the David Mack covers. So I'll just show this off quickly because they were not that cheap, even though I got a real good price on them. This one's probably my favorite. Here she is with her dance club pose. And there we go. So David Mack, doing Erica Slaughter. But All right, let's get into New Comic Book Day. Again, my read of the week was my hot pick. It delivered. This was surprisingly fun, a real fun issue. A little bit more of a groundwork issue, but it was really fun. This was surprisingly really good as well. Mark's hot pick. Yeah, Mark's hot pick. This was fun too. Speckity Specs back. We'll see what happens with Legacy issue 200. Gunslinger Spawn 4.
That's a dope cover.
Yeah. I think this might be the last issue that Todd helms for a little bit with that one. Stray Dogs Volume 2, Dog Days Issue 2.
I like that Trick or Treat homage. That was a cool little anthology movie.
I am really loving this artist who's handling the covers for these. This was really, really good.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that storyline.
Yeah, that Shadows of the Bat, really, really good. So yeah, that's it.
All right, we'll kick over. I've got a kind of a large stack here, so I apologize ahead of time. But got the Batman Catwoman special. It's a one shot. I think there's 2 issues left of this maxi series, and this was just the icing on the cake. I read this shortly before going live tonight, and I was teared up. That was an intense read. Human Target book 4 with probably like the best cover of the week. There were some awesome covers, and you can like just kind of categorize them. But this has to be in a league of its own, just with how cool that is.
Oh, Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Oh, Ted, before you got to shot off. Superman Robin one shot. This was just a fun, good time, just reuniting the Super Sons now that they're kind of in their current situations and positions and everything. Justice League issue number 71. This was pretty good. I'm ready to get to the death of the Justice League stuff. I know Williamson's going to be taking over the title, so that's all I can see now is the finish line, getting to Williamson. Flash issue number 778. Super
Detective Jim.
Yeah, the whole Justice League Dark is in there. They're on Gym World. Fighting just a lot of great stuff going on, man. The finale to Superman 78. Super solid series. I hope they like leave it on break for a little while
another 6
and come back to it. Yes.
Yeah, like in 6 months, I want another 6 issues out of that.
Yeah, please. That Detective Comics issue number 1050, that landmark issue. And I do want to point out this had 2 backup stories. It was slightly oversized. They took advantage of it's 50 issues past 1,000, so celebration. But they put our first look at the upcoming series, World's Finest, that Mark Waid will be returning to helm that title.
Nice.
And Dan Mora is doing the art. Dude, I think Dan Mora is
good combo.
I think Dan Moore is my new favorite artist for Batman. Action Comics 1039, which Ryan just mentioned. Teen Titans Academy number 11. This book is amping back up finally. Like I was so excited for this ever since Future State. It took a few issues to kind of introduce us to all of these new characters and whatnot. And but it's back in full force. Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target number 4. I say it every time. I do not recommend this book, but it is a blast. It is so fun. I don't know why, but it's super fun. It's Freaky Friday with the 2 characters, but I was thinking about dropping it and only going digital if I even cared to read it. But I saw this Kale New cover with Aquaman in the blue suit, and I'm like, God. So I got it. And it was actually the first book I read this week. I was like, yeah, I got to see what these idiots are up to. That Garth Ennis Peacemaker Disturbing the Peace one shot. Super good. It was kind of like a modern, just a history lesson of Peacemaker there. And the rest of these are cover buys. So let's see. First up, I have the 4 connecting covers by Rodriguez for Detective Comics 1050. There's the top of the image. And here's the bottom of the image. So those are going to end up being giveaways later. There's no way I'm just going to keep those for no good reason.
Did you get the Fabok?
For that issue?
Yeah.
No, I just got the Rodriguez covers. I picked up Task Force Z, the Peacemaker variant.
Ooh.
I went back and got Justice League Incarnate 3, the Peacemaker variant. I had missed over that one. I'd already shown this one before, but there's the Simone DeMeo one. I love that one. And then we have the King Shark number 5. I do not know the artist on this one, but it does have life-size representation of Judo Master right there. Harley Quinn number 11. I love this one. It's got this like classic 70s feel to it.
Yeah.
And then this one is would be my other cover pick of the week. And I got 3 of these because I'm keeping one of these and probably sending it off to be slabbed. But that's the Perillo variant.
Man.
That is just insane.
You have to ship one of those to Canada. I didn't see those.
Hey, what do you know? But hey, I was crazy this week on covers. This was probably the biggest straight DC week I've had in a while. I do have Power Rangers Universe to still pick up. I did not go Friday, but all those Peacemaker books are going into a Legion loot box. They won't be in the February one. Most likely they'll be in the March one because the show will still be going on. It'll be a good time for it. I think there's still a few that might be coming out, but I try to throw some extra books in there on top of it. Like last month, I had all the local comic shop day books, the foils they did. And I think that was last month. Yeah. And this month, I don't have – I got other stuff this month. I'll go and show it off real quick. So this month, I've got the big-time collectibles exclusives that they added, that they send for it. The Death of Doctor Strange Anciletto Virgin variant. The Miko Suyon Department of Truth number 12, that Run DMC homage, the trade dress. Inferno number 1 trade dress. Primordial number 1 from Alan Qua, the Virgin variant.
Such a good story.
Yeah, it is. It's super cool. And then Batman Black and White number 1, the minimal trade dress. And that's Batman 423, isn't it? Homage to Todd McFarlane.
Right.
And then I've got a couple things I've added to it. Got a Captain Harlock Space Captain John Jang wraparound because I've just gotten so many of those. I'm slowly wearing them down. And then I've got another Blasting and Stashing Austin LeMay signed by Austin LeMay. In case you missed out on last month's. That's Austin LeMay's first cover work there on an actual published cover. And then we got X-Men number 5, that second appearance of Omega Red with him on the cover there fighting Wolverine.
That cover's better than his first appearance cover as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, so you don't want me to put this one in there?
I never said that's not a good book. I just said issue 5's cover is better than issue 4.
Yeah, it's so dope. But so we got first appearance of Omega Red because he's everybody's favorite non-present character in the MCU. And then just because they're awesome, LCS owner made sure that I had one of the 2022 calendars from Marvel to go in there. And that's not all. Kidrano Prints, who does the 3D printed stands. So there's a stand just like this one, but it's black, and instead of having a Legion of Comics logo on it, it has a 3D printed X-Men 4 cover. So it has the book in the giveaway. You know, it has this on it. And it has like parts of the image are actually 3D, like the hand and the cables and stuff. So that stand will be included in the giveaway and sent to the winner of this month's Legion loot box.
It's going to look good holding my 9.8.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you lose. Who knows? Yeah, and I hate to say this too, but out of all those books, the only one I haven't read is Human Target 4. I just didn't have time to get to it yet. I always save it for like my nice quiet time kind of thing. And dude, I've been feeling crappy this whole week. I haven't had any nice quiet time. I've been having like suffocate in the bedtime. It's been rough. Cover buys all the best. What is going on, Hoarders High? I'm glad you popped in. Another channel member. Big fan of the stuff on the inside, though. What's it called? On the stories. That's it. Yeah, me too. Me too.
A little bit.
Legion Loot. Look, Legion Loot is the best. Yeah, dude. I hope people are happy with it. It's definitely try to stack it. Love those Jim Lee X-Men issues before he jumped ship for Image.
Yeah, he was affiliated with the best-selling comic book of all time.
Waiting for Human Target to get collected. It's been not all of Tom King's stuff would I suggest someone read monthly versus collected, but Human Target's a good one for monthly. The way that it plays out with at the end of every issue, I almost hear like a da na na,
Right.
as it like takes you out. Like it's slick, man.
Actually, in this issue, they change it up on you. It's actually like probably not even quite middle way into the issue, and there's just like this beautiful shot and DC presents and everything.
Oh,
It's like,
nice.
yeah.
What is going on, Kenneth Bird? What do you want to
I
go
love
and
the
talk
way it's
about?
like kind of like
Go ahead and talk about it. What happened in this issue? Where's he at in his investigation? This was 4 days down now. He's only got 8 left to live, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this one was basically he goes to meet Ted Cord, and that's from issue 3 with Booster Gold. So now then, like in number 4, he's like, well, let me go talk to Blue Beetle or whatever, and so he like goes to talk to him, and it's great because like essentially like it's a really cool issue because basically they go to meet Ted, right? So they go to his office, Cord Industries, and he gets a call like, oh, they're robbing a bank in Utah. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? Like, I don't really have time to talk to you, but, if you guys want to come along with me, I'll explain everything. And so, like, honestly, 85% of this issue is like you watching what's his name, Chance and Ice, like sitting on this bench, like at the back of the bug or whatever, is like Ted is like flying them to these different places, like as he goes to like superhero, but you have all of like Ted's dialogue, in like these bubbles. And so like the whole issue is like Ted, like telling all these stories about like him and Booster and Lex and like what all's going on with all of that stuff. But visually, you're watching like this relationship kind of build between Chance and Ice, and it's just like there's so many beautiful scenes, because he's like in the Ted's like bug thing, like they're flying through the sky, and they do great imagery with like the clouds and stuff, and it's a great issue, and it like kind of just like continues that trend of like who done it and trying to figure all that stuff out, and it was a great issue. I enjoyed it. I like the way that there's like, it kind of, whenever it started, you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be like very episodic. Like each one's going to be like him going and meeting somebody. And it's still doing that, but there's also like a lot of like meta carrying over. So like, I mean, they're, basically from the Booster Gold's like bagel opening, they go to meet Ted, and like, so like it's like flowing very well. There's like this little meta string that's going through everything, but then you get like these episodic issues of like today we're talking to Blue Beetle. Last time we talked to Booster Gold. Before that we met Ice, and so it's really good. I love the way it's done, the way it's presented. Like I could totally see it being like kind of like a 70s spy TV show kind of thing. Like it's really cool. I'm not hearing you.
I'll say to John's point, I think he tries to do like more non-used teams or characters a lot. If you look at all of his series, he's doing Adam Strange or Rorschach, who's not been picked up for a while. And that really wasn't even about Rorschach, the character, but the ideal. He did Mr. Miracle, who, I mean, we definitely don't have enough Mr. Miracle. That Source of Freedom story wasn't scot-free, but it was still fantastic. But, it's been really cool. I've been enjoying it. This King's hit or miss for me, but I'm enjoying Human Target quite a bit.
That's fair.
I came in completely green on Human Target, and I'm enjoying it. And for those that don't know, Human Target did have a 1 season long television show, like higher production television show. I can't remember. I think it came on Fox.
Yeah, that's probably right.
And, I don't remember the actor who starred in it, but Jackie Earl Haley, who played Rorschach, ironically, played his tech guy in it. It was pretty cool. Small drips of information are nice for pulling you along with the mystery. I may have been the only person who enjoyed his Omega Men. I didn't know Tom King did an Omega Men. I will go look for it.
Yeah, I am like there's a lot of Tom King stuff, like Batman, Catwoman, for instance. Like I can see where a lot of people would not enjoy that. I feel like he's like really hit this great stride. Like it's hard for me not to recommend Supergirl or Human Target right now.
Supergirl is phenomenal.
Yeah, like I think the only people that those two series wouldn't appeal to at the moment is like people that, forgive me for saying this, but you know, like super basic comic book readers. They're just like, I want to see like superheroes punch stuff. Like,
yeah,
I think that's the only
like
people that would miss it. I think, I think pretty much anybody though that enjoys comic books as a medium, like the stuff he's doing, like with Supergirl and with Human Target, is just really impressive. You know,
they're not light reads. They're not meant to be light reads. Like you get your money's worth out of them. It takes you some time to read them. They're very wordy, which I appreciate. Definitely wouldn't want all of my comics like that, but it's good to have both when you're going through your weekly. You know, I like that balance.
Yeah. King is not an entry-level comic book read, that's for sure. Anything King is doing.
Yeah.
Pop said there was a pilot movie in the 80s with Rick Springfield as Human Target.
This is true.
Yeah, and he does always work with great artists. Like this Smallwood art is awesome. I can't even pronounce the name of the person doing Supergirl.
Oh, Belquist Everly.
Belquist Everly. Yeah, you can pronounce it very well. I would have tried that, but that artwork is
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He teams very well with artists, but you know, like I was saying in this issue, like you get so much dialogue off screen with from Ted. You know, like he's like even at the like toward the end of the issue, it's like, you know, like the final panels or something. Chance is like I asked him one question 14 hours ago, and he just never stopped talking. like Ted talks through the whole issue, but all of the visual focus is completely on other things. You know, it's all the little things like their hands and all this, you know, little body motions and stuff, you know, and like it's one of those things like not every artist can pull that off. But Smallwood does an amazing job with just like making it, you know, visually interesting and appealing, and you're learning one whole side of a story, and then you're like reading all this dialogue and stuff that kind of gives you the whole other half of the story.
Nice. So I don't know how many of these were ongoing other than his Batman run, but he seems to work a lot better with limited story arcs where he has a clear beginning, middle, and end to work with. But we could stay on Tom King all night. I want to move it on to the next book, one that I won't take long to talk about. Justice League 71. This was, I mean, I couldn't tell you much about the Justice League part other than there was just a wrap up with the Royal Flush Gang about them stealing the Fortress of Solitude. You get more of a kind of patting on the back with Ollie for kind of carrying all these multiple teams for a while. And most importantly, we have the Justice League Dark backup story, which was a beautiful installment to that by Rom V. You followed Khalid, Dr. Fate, as he was kind of writing down his final words, you know, his death letter, because he's about to be going into this impossible odds battle with Merlin and everything. And they did a great job of just kind of following his thoughts visually across the team of the Justice League Dark and kind of where they were to where they are now and how he hopes or how he expects them to look forward and what could be. There was just amazing art, amazing visuals, like him going through his final words, the last thing he said to these people before he headed off to this battle. You know, it was really cool because like he gets to Etrigan and he's like, of course, you know, I had to have two things to say to them, one for Jason and one for the Demon. And it was a great issue. So it's really hyping up this big battle. And I think Merlin's going to be a tough nut to crack. I hope that this is connected to Joshua Williamson stuff we saw in the annual. That it's actually Darkseid's father, who's a piece of the source wall that's fractured in the cosmos from where the source wall broke, and that Darkseid's father is the one that pulled whatever essence of Merlin was still good out of him and just let loose pure evil Merlin on the world of magic. So hopefully that ties in and we can bring the Justice League Dark into the big event and everything, because we need them back on monthly. Or at least we need them on scheduled limiteds. We need one of the two, because these backup stories are great, but I could use 8 more pages in each issue. That would be stellar. You know?
That's why I pretty much fell off of it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. I mean, that was pretty much my only like real Bendis experience, and I was just like, I don't really care. Not that I hated his Justice League bits, but like they just weren't really hooking me. I was like, I have no drive to buy this for Justice League, but that's a majority of the book. Then you get this great like Justice League Dark stuff at the back that feels like it's being squashed under the weight of like lesser material in front of it, you know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I think Justice League and Avengers both over at Marvel are not treated like the proper flagship titles they should be. You know, this is your compilation of all your big hitters. And as soon as Snyder left Justice League, you had different writers come in and just give you fun stories and everything. They're definitely worth picking up and reading if you're a Justice League fan. I never regret picking up an issue. But they're not playing into the bigger picture stuff right now. The fact that Superman's in them, you know, like Superman's not even present on Earth in the bigger picture. These are just stories and the adventures of the Justice League kind of thing, you know? Like, they're just filler issues.
The other thing that really killed it for me was like every 2 weeks or whatever. It was just like, oh, I can't keep up with this. It's too much.
Yeah. Cool. You hit the nail on the head. Like when it comes to flagship titles, i.e. Avengers and the Justice League, even the Fantastic Four to a lesser degree, these are not backbone titles the way that collectively we always say. The Suicide Squad right now, it seems, and Teen Titans Academy to a lesser degree seems to be the backbone of the DC universe right now. And that is actually weird to say. Like, again, we all champion the Suicide Squad and the writing that's been going on with it, and it's been a hell of a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird we're not saying the Justice League or the Avengers when it comes to the Marvel universe, and it's actually quite sad. But again, it shows the strength of these stories that are being told. But it's just off. Like, so
I think it has a lot to say with new readers.
Superman's not on Earth. We know that because if you're reading Suicide Squad or Teen Titans Academy, but if you pick up Justice League, well, there's Kal-El right there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that says a lot to the new readers that come in that can relate more to these characters that don't have this ginormous, heavy history to keep up with and everything, you know. And someone had mentioned earlier, like fallible. People can relate so easy to fallible characters. And what is a team of villains if not fallible? You know, it's just fun. You never know what they're going to be up to. But if you like more classic style stuff, I mean, that's really what the current Justice League books are playing to. But I think they realize that, and they're trying to rectify it to some degree with this issue 75 event coming up, where they're going to be able to kind of bench these characters that aren't just keep pulling the readership that they normally would, and do one of two things. One, introduce us to the next wave that are present in comics and give them kind of some room to spread their wings and give us the opportunity to see them do stuff and get to enjoy them and kind of want more of them, or regret not having our classic heroes around like they were. So it'll go one of two ways or both ways. So we'll see. Chris, what you got? What book you going to pull first?
Let's talk about ASM. So this is Jed MacKay with Arthur Adams on the cover. So this is more of a Peter-centric story. So Peter's out of the hospital in the last issue. Peter tried to take on just a couple thugs and got his rear end hand into him. And Peter then began to doubt himself. The side story of that obviously is Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly seems to have a little bit of a brain injury, or they're playing into the fact that his memory is gone. So while we have Peter starting to be trained, the story starts off with Steve Rogers and the Black Cat, minus the costume, sitting down at a diner having a coffee, talking about what they need to do, and that is to get Peter back to 100%. Now, the cool thing is everyone in this little cafe is staring at them, and Black Cat's like, why are they staring at us? And Steve's like, well, you know what's up, and then has a coffee. So
he big timed her.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So basically the story kind of goes with Peter. Cap is focusing in on working the hand-to-hand combat stuff, whereas Black Cat's trying to help him with the web slinging. and she makes comments like, you're not having any kind of finesse. You're not even at the point where Ben is right now. You're just trying not to fall. That's what you're doing with your web slinging, and you're not being you. Cap, when it comes to Cap dealing with the hand-to-hand stuff, Peter hits him as hard as he can, and Cap says to him, why are you pulling your punches? And Peter kind of stepped back and said, that's as hard as I can go. And that's when he said, you're not being Spider-Man right now. You got to let yourself go. You have to get back into the moment. So there's a lot of that training going on. And it just kind of concludes at the end of this issue where with Peter, they set up this scene where Peter is web slinging in on two people that look like they're pulling off a big jewelry heist. And it turns out to be obviously Steve and Black Cat, but they're obviously just like they're black.
They're wearing a ball cap and aviators.
So they're wearing black masks and stuff, and they both just embarrass Peter. So again, the comment comes out that you're only at 75%. Rome wasn't built in a day, kind of thing, and so they're really setting up the fact that Peter has been really, really damaged by the UFOs when he had the encounter of it in Manhattan. The side story obviously is still Ben dealing with the Beyond Corporation, and we get a little bit of a glimpse of the clone of the lady who's going to potentially become the Goblin Queen in the next issue. But they're challenging Ben's memory, whether it's because of a brain injury or the fact that he's a clone. They start showing images of villains, and they're going through Vulture that knocks it off, Scorpion, Kraven the Hunter shows up, Dr. Octopus, villain after villain after villain after villain, and Ben names them all 100%. And then the psychiatrist that's speaking to him says, well, with great responsibility comes, and then Ben looks at her and is like, what does that mean? With great responsibility comes what? And that's how the story ends. So
that's a low blow right there.
So yeah,
that's a low blow.
It's to me, it was definitely more of a ground, just one of those ground piece kind of stories. They're setting up obviously the Goblin Queen. They're trying to get Peter back up to normal for when Zeb Wells takes over the new volume with issue 1, when Peter gets his own monthly again properly.
No, they're going to
try to wipe away everything that happened before that.
Ben's getting his own Spider title, right?
Yeah, I think it dropped last Wednesday, or it's dropping very, very soon. But yeah, Ben's getting his own ongoing, whether it's a maxi or just a straight up monthly. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's going to be my particular flavor. We'll see.
I wonder how much they're going to lean into tying it into the regular title.
Now, I don't know what they're going to do with it. If Peter's going to continue to handle Manhattan kind of thing, or if Ben's going to get plucked off and put into his own city kind of thing, or what have you. But again, overall though, I'd probably give this 4 Maple Leafs out of 5. But again, we got Arthur Adams on the cover, and the interiors done by Gomez, I'm not sure of the artist's first name, was beautiful. This is actually one of the better ASMs for interior artwork that's been available in the last 4 or 5 issues. So yeah, it was good. It was a fun read. And it's been a while since I've been able to say that about Spider-Man.
Nice. Ryan, you want to get us caught up on something else?
Mars saying, it was last Wednesday.
Nice.
About Ben. Mm-hmm.
Working on the latest picture my sister made me a long time ago. Send me a picture of it on, I know you're not on Instagram. Send me a picture of it on the, what's that thing called? Facebook.
I have no idea what's going on here with that comment, but okay.
He said that his sister made him a picture. I'm assuming it might be about Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
But he's a big DC guy, so maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not. You don't want to talk about this Peacemaker book?
Ben Reilly's Spider-Man is a retro title set during Clone Saga. Issue 1 came out 2 weeks ago. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Dude, that Silver Surfer Rebirth being a retro title, that nailed. Like, that was awesome. I don't know if anyone else is reading that. If you're not, you definitely should be. But that whole thing was, oh, dude, look, he changed it on here. That's what he did. He changed his from the Batman shirt to the Superman picture. Dude, that is awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
Superman gets a lot of love with this panel.
Yeah, most definitely. And I put a cool thumbnail on this one. Hey, it reminded me of Buddy Jesus from Dogma. What is going on, Flash 6792? Another channel member. Appreciate you hopping on. I hope you're having a good weekend. We're doing Peacemaker.
This is kind of sad. It's just a one shot.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a 3-issue mini.
Yeah. But,
and I didn't know it. I can't remember who made the comment. This is an homage to Something is Killing the Children, #1, third print.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That's kind of a random thing to pull out.
Yeah, I don't know if they did it intentionally or not, but when you look at it, it looks pretty much like an homage.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I think my expectations were a little off because I had already heard a couple of podcasts talk about it, and they like really hyped it up. And like, I didn't find it bad. I was just like kind of surprised how, I don't want to say how little happened in it, but like there's no real like Peacemaker to it, you know?
No, it's
just yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like kind of just like actually kind of like we were talking about, you know, like something that gives you like this historical perspective on the character that kind of like gives you the origin story and stuff. Like I guess sort of a grand design sort of one shot. You know, so like I thought it was like kind of interesting in that respect. It was just like crazy that there was no Peacemaker in it, you know.
Yeah, no helmet.
Yeah, but it was like really definitely like very adult, very violent, kind of over the top, but also like very perspective driven, you know. And it was really cool, you know. It was like this weird just like interview with Peacemaker about like how he became the person he is and his messed up childhood.
Yeah, I think it was a kind of a necessary thing. I don't it being Garth Ennis, I thought it could have gone a little bit harder. Thought it could have gone a little bit harder, but I guess because of the recent explosion of popularity with Peacemaker between the Suicide Squad movie, him being in the Suicide Squad, the HBO show like being an absolute hit like across the board. You know, like that's not just like my bias or anything kicking in. The show is a hit. Like they're already planning more stuff because of how well it's doing. And they thought this would be a great time to drop like a bio of the character, and it's a kind of an updated version of the bio. And this doesn't even give you his full history, so there could easily be another issue there. This is just his time in the military before the Peacemaker program. Like,
correct.
This is like this is part like chapter 1 and 2, childhood and military. We didn't get to chapter 3 before he gets in the Peacemaker program, or chapter.
They don't even touch on anything with his actual dad either.
No.
It was all his mom and his stepdad.
I was curious how they were going to even approach that nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, go back and read that Peacemaker, his actual.
Yeah, the 88 run.
The 88 one. Dude, that is some edgy stuff even for the 80s.
Yeah.
So his dad is a Nazi war criminal because in the 80s, you know, like that's like just over 30-something years past. And his father committed suicide in front of Chris. I'm not calling him John Cena. In front of Chris when he was 5 years old, and his dad's ghost is with him on all of his missions, just dogging him out, trash talking him, telling him how horrible of a person he is, how he's making bad decisions, how he should just be slaughtering more people and everything. And he's doing this all in his SS officer outfit, and so you basically have a Nazi ghost riding shotgun, and you're talking to him. It's like he's there, you know. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected. I thought it was still really good. I didn't care for the interior art at all. I thought it was
it was kind of like hit and miss for me.
For DC Black Label, I thought it was below par, to be honest. But I thought it was right. I really thought Garth Ennis. I really enjoyed, you know, the part where Chris is getting wooed into the army, and then they start talking about missions and that part of it. To me, I really expected the costume. I expected the helmet. I expected all of it. None of that is here in this issue. It's just young man Chris figuring out who he is, getting through his time in the military. And Yeah, it for what it is, I'm glad it wasn't like a $10 book, because I would have really felt really pissed at that point. But I thought it was good. For those who, like Mark said, if you're enjoying the show, this might be something that if you really want to dive deep into like what they're going to be, how they're going to yeah.
That's what
That's the 80s. That's the 80s one. If you want to see how DC's trying to reshape the character moving forward, because obviously now he's turning into a little bit more of a recognizable franchisable character, this might be for you.
Yeah.
But again, the artwork I thought
it was scratchy. It was real.
Yeah.
It's not what Black Label has been with other Black Label titles.
Yeah.
I thought it looked
even the
really
Jock
good.
Batman
Like,
book. Mm-hmm.
I thought it looked good in like the action scenes, like when the two bank robber people, yeah, it worked really well for their parts. Even like some of the violence whenever he's walking through the house, whenever he comes home and discovers everything, even that kind of worked. But like whenever they're sitting there talking, I was like, good Lord, this looks really bad.
The face was
about
oversized.
that format. That formatting was really cool how they did it. While he was sitting on a bench at a cemetery talking to a psychiatrist who was kind of trying to profile him to see if they we'll find out, like, she's trying to profile him while she has some feds there off in the distance. We don't know the feds are there, like, kind of she's working for them. We don't know that at the beginning, and it's almost like they're trying to figure out that he's too big of a liability to keep around. And about halfway through the issue, like, he's kind of turned the tables on her, where he's really profiling her, and he lets her know that, like, he knows she has a wire, and he's already made the car across the way. And at this point, you see them dipping. They're like, "Oh, he's onto it. We're not saying crap. We're out of here." And but it was cool because after we get to like more of the serious stuff and everything, with how involved he was in everything that happened in his life, how things were happening to him, isn't necessarily the case. It wasn't
a passive experience, though.
Yeah, things were happening because of him, not to him. Like, even from an early age, he was very much in control of his destiny, for better or for worse. He, like, if something happens, he grabbed the bull by the horns and steered it all the way to the point, that little awesome little thing that they did at the end when he was kind of insinuated that he killed his parents, or he, like, and she asked him, "Well, did you kill your parents?" He goes, "Well, they're at peace now." And he just kind of leaves it hanging. And she goes, "Are they?" And he's like, "Yeah, look how peaceful they are." And it pans back, and you realize this whole meeting, he's sitting there at his mom's grave for the whole thing. Like, and that's when her mind's just blown. She's like, "Dude, this dude played me the whole time." Like, it was.
Yeah, because she says, like, "How do I know you're not lying to me?" He's like, "At this point, what would be the point in lying to you?"
Yeah.
But also, like, you don't know if I'm lying to you after all of this. You know, and it's just like, goes back to that thing, like, we really don't know, but like, we kind of know, but like, you don't know, you know, like, he's just like playing them every.
Yeah, dude, that would be nuts.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
John Walker.
A lot
Real
of fun.
quick, let's say hello. We had Panda Awesome 316 hop in the chat. What is going on? Hashtag Panda Pack, another channel member. We also had Sad Face, Burt Family 54 Comics hopped in the chat. I'm assuming that Sad Face is in reference to Sports Ball. But either way, be happy, smile, Steve. You are a channel member. I appreciate that. Hashtag Burt Fam up in here. I heard that his team played a good game for most of the game.
First half only.
Okay, for the first half. Loved your video the other day. Sunflowers are my favorite, my wife's favorite flower. My wife's too. She has a big sunflower tattoo going down her rib cage. It's delicious.
Oh,
Chaos and Comics, what is going on, man? Always happy to see you in here. And we got the Bearded Comic Bro back to back. What is going on, Greg? Awesome that you stopped by. Another channel member. Thank you, Panda. Still trying to figure out how to make these videos. So am
Bearded,
I.
congratulations. Hooday.
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 I'm assuming that's a sports ball reference as well.
Yes. His team is going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice. This will be a quick one. What was it called? Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target issue number 4. Like, because they're Freaky Friday now.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah, so Ollie and Arthur have switched bodies, and they still don't know exactly how or why yet. The Serpent Society or something like that is just another one of those checkmate style villain groups or whatever. science-based, and they're working on a time machine that they can use to take over, control, dictate how events happen to be the leaders of the world. But anyways, they were getting tortured in the last issue. They broke out and they're trying to escape their prison. In this issue, they find out that they're on a moon base, which is super cool. Again, this book is outrageous. It's just fun. But they fight their way off the moon base, get into an escape pod. They get out of there. They're heading back to Earth just to land on Earth and see that everybody, oh yeah, the Serpent Society thing, the leader is like a dinosaur man. Because when he was back in the past, think of David Cronenberg's The Fly. You know, the teleportation, the fly got in there. The guy came back from the Jurassic period. A little baby dinosaur got on the pad. So he's dinosaur man. But they get back to Earth from the moon base just to see that the entire population is dinosaur people. And that's where it left us off. It's fun.
So you're reading that, but you won't read DC versus Vampires.
I'm telling you,
it's not. It
this book is so good. I don't know why.
It's one of those books I want to get caught up on. Like, it's a little lower on my priorities, but I read the first book. Like, this is going to be so stupid. I'm never going to want to read it again. Like, that first issue, I was just like, this was actually really fun. Like,
oh man.
Like, it's so absurd and dumb. It's like so much fun.
Like I'm so guilty even saying. I feel so guilty saying it. It's so good.
You guys are gonna need showers after.
There is no shame in my Tom King game, but whenever it comes to that book, I'm like, yeah, it's actually really good. Like,
I put a disclaimer on it every time I say it. I read it.
Boy. I'll be sending you guys some soap.
It's good.
Oh.
I even bought a B cover for it. Like,
well, that's only because Aquaman looks sexy. You picked that one.
I love the blue suit, my dude.
Oh man,
and it's a Kale New cover. I mean, they can't. Dude, hashtag ramen game.
People,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
I didn't know it was a Kale cover at first either. All right, next book. Go ahead, Chris.
All right,
Tell us about DC versus Vampires.
All right, let's talk about the soap opera that DC versus Vampires is. If you guys wanted, this is Freaky minus the Friday. Okay, so in issue
I did
3,
read the first issue of this one, so
So are you up to date then, Ryan, on this?
No, I've only read the first issue.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil the hell out of it. Last issue, Hal, who is basically the leader of the superpowered vampires, changes Diana. So Wonder Woman is now front and center vampire in the Justice League moving forward. At the tail end of the last issue, Hal and Diana get to the remainder of the Justice League before Batman does, to tell them that it's Batman who the vampire is. And in amongst that Justice League, of course, is Superman. So in this issue, we end up having, if there aren't dinosaurs indeed.
It sounds so crazy when you just say it on paper, but it is a fun read.
But
man.
here's the kicker: there's a giant gorilla in here that takes on Batgirl and
that sounds good all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right.
So Green Arrow makes his way into the Batcave, and he's under the false presumption that Batman is the leader of these vampires, and they end up having hand-to-hand combat. And in the end, Bruce handles himself, and they both figure out that they're both not vampires because each one thinks that they are vampires. And it's spread out over 4 or 5 issues. And then Batman makes the comment, "Hey man, is your cheek okay?" And Ollie says to him, "Yeah, you didn't hit me that hard." And he goes, "Yeah, so try not stop bleeding all over my bat floor, will you?" So at that point, I was like, all right, now we're having some fun again with this book. And side note, again, John Constantine is in this book. And when he shows up, he's in a bar in London just getting hammered. And Zatanna shows up in the background, and she starts talking to him, and he's friendly with her, but he's got his back to her. And of course, out comes the fangs, and she's going in, and all of a sudden she stopped. And Constantine's like, "What do you think, that I don't know you're a vampire?" And I'm like, oh, this is just pure Constantine goodness. I love it. And so John's like, you know what, we're gonna have a conversation. So tell me what it's like. And like he's trying to figure out what's going on, how it happened to her. And at the time, Dr. Fate then appears out of nowhere and looks at her and just vaporizes her. And then Constantine starts giving him hell. Like, why would you do that? Like, I was making inways with her, blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Fate says, I don't have time for this. The fate of the world is at hand. And again, oh, this is just a great one-liner. This is what we're going to do. Keep giving it to me every day of the week. So then it flashes back. It flashes back to Gotham where we have a giant gorilla. Now, I feel like I should know who the gorilla is, but I don't. I'll show you. Who?
Grodd?
Gorilla Grodd?
It might be.
Or Gorilla Todd.
Greg is the other one.
Or Greg.
I'm serious. From Teen Titans Academy, Greg.
Yeah, Greg.
Either way, this here. You can blow that up. Maybe you guys can tell me who it is.
Yes, Grodd. He's got the red cape on.
Okay, so I'm off the top of my head, I wasn't familiar with the character. So he shows up in an office building where Red Hood and Batgirl are handling a vampire, trying to get information out of him. This gorilla shows up, and he's just manhandling them. One thing leads to another, and Red Hood ends up going out of a window, but holds on to the floor, and the gorilla goes out over him, falling, and Red Hood kind of makes a joke, well, that's the end of you. But halfway down, the gorilla turns into a bat and flies away. And again, there's another delicious one-liner in it. Long story short, it gets back to the Batcave where there's alarms going off. In walks Wonder Woman. In flies the Green Lantern. And both Batman and Green Arrow know that they're in some serious trouble now. So it's an attack back and forth. Batman starts throwing spikes at Wonder Woman, knowing that she's a vampire. And Wonder Woman and Green Lantern are talking to him by saying, you're the old ways. You need to join us now. This is the new way. And as Batman unleashes all these spikes going towards her to kill her, of course, Green Lantern just stops it all and says, did you drop these, Bruce? And as they're going back and forth, another alarm goes off in the Batcave. Everything kind of stops. Batman looks up, and there's the entire Justice League coming at him. Everyone stops, except for the main character, takes a step forward and says, Bruce, we need to talk. And it's Superman. So the final panel is Batman and Green Arrow fighting the entire Justice League. But the one person that's missing from this big battle that's happening right here is Superman himself. So I don't know if Superman has kind of been brainwashed or if he's been turned. But I know needles don't puncture that skin, so I'm hoping Superman hasn't turned and that he's just kind of brainwashed.
I don't know. Fancy writing. I was already thinking that if he could get bit, because remember, I'm not trying to compare it to Deceased like it's that style story, but remember he took a stabbing because of how fast Wally was moving.
Yeah.
Well, Deceased, that's what got him.
It's Barry that's in this Elseworld story, and he is the victim at the end of issue 2. The Green Lantern crushes his head. Nice.
At least it wasn't Wally.
Yeah. I'm Barry.
I'm going to speed through a few because it's already 10:30 and this was the huge week for me. But Superman and Robin, it was just a little whimsical hangout. Trouble at the Fortress. One of the devices in the museum that is the Fortress activated and opened a time portal, so they had to go punch some Nazis, put some dinosaurs back in their right time, stuff like that. Dinosaurs. Flash 778. Flash has been trying to catch up to Eclipso in the past few issues to see what he's up to. Eclipso is using Gem World as an energy rod to expand his reach. Like crystals and stuff. You can use to like whatever. But Justice League Dark was there, and they're all infected. So it was Wally just having to dive, duck, dip, dive, dodge, and all that stuff to get through them and everything. And,
I understood that reference.
It was super fun. It was super fun. This cover artist draws so weird. Look, he looks like he's 900 years old.
Yeah.
Why does he have so many wrinkles?
Yeah,
but
I like the concept for that cover, but yeah,
he did awesome.
It looks kind of weird,
a little overdone.
Yeah. He didn't put the pencil down soon enough. Is all. Detective Comics 1050 was good. This is the finale to the first quarter of the Shadows of the Bat story. So this whole thing has just been fun. We did learn in this issue that there is more behind what's going on in Arkham Tower with getting all these inmates docile. It's not only a mysterious drug, it's a drug operation. So they're trying to run drugs. They're basically laundering illegal drugs through Arkham, as well as we found out that Psycho Pirate is in play. That was the big catch at the end of it. Boom! So again, and he wasn't in his classic red costume either. He was in a black costume with a gold mask, which leads me to believe again that they are seeding the hell out of DC Comics with this upcoming Williamson event, because we know that Psycho Pirate, looking like this, has been with Darkseid in the Williamson stuff with the Infinite Frontier stuff. So, so the Master of Emotions, who can like Purple Man ain't got shit on this dude, but he's in play in here. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Cap. But it's fun that Batman's on the cover. He's not in the books. You know, Batman is not present. This isn't continuity with the Batman stuff where he's overseas. So it's straight Bat Family, how people were talking about we need more of those books. And we have those anthology urban legends. It just didn't really, there wasn't enough good stories in them and not long enough stories that flush out. This is it. We have a Bat Family focused 12-issue event. Don't miss out on it. This has been great. And that World's Finest backup one has got me pumped for that. Teen Titans Academy, another one I can run through real quick. We've got that whole prophecy that we saw the events of in Future State with the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse. We have the Titans actively trying to stop that. They know it's coming. Raven's visions are hitting. Dane, who's also known as Nevermore, he's going to be the one that ushers it in. He doesn't want to. It's just something that's self-fulfilling within him with who he is. Red X, we get a little bit more backstory on him. We get a whole Judas contract feel, like when Tara was undercover with the Titans working for Deathstroke. Red X is undercover with the Titans working for Red X version 2. This is Red X version 3. You know, Robin was that one Red X, and then there's a guy who brought in our current Red X and trained him and embedded him with the Titans. So we don't know who he is yet. We do know that he doesn't like doing what he has to do. He does not have a death wish against the Titans. He just doesn't want to see any more die the way that they have in the past. That whole road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of thing. He's trying to stop that. So this is really amping up. And they also started talking about this unkindness. It's even more dangerous than the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse. They're not a main concern. It's the unkindness that comes behind them, which we saw sweeping through the pages of the multiverse in the Black Adam backup stories during Future State. So that's big time stuff. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Let's hear about
long story short, Mjolnir has become its own entity in this, and so there is big spec value on that. I can't see it lasting because in the end, Mjolnir turns out to be Magog or Magog or whatever. Maybe it's an introduction of a new villain.
Magog is a character in DC.
Right. So, well then, let's take a quick look, shall we? Long story short, it's Thor battling this energy force that's calling itself Mjolnir, wielding Mjolnir and Mangog. Sorry. So this is who Mjolnir ends up being in throughout the story. It's kind of talked about that the spirit of Mjolnir was in the sun and Earth Sun, where it kind of merged with some other evil entities that's been cast into the sun because the sun is basically like a prison.
So you're saying the God of Hammers thing with the last issue already just fell on its face?
Not quite, but it took a quick 180. That's for sure.
Okay.
It does have a lot of brutal violence in this one. Mjolnir actually fractures Thor's arm. We see his arm splinter out. His arm is a mangled mess. We'll see how that goes because we saw that before, a la the Hulk. He's real bad shape. Right when Mjolnir's about to deliver the kill blow, Odin steps in, kind of saves the moment, and says something along the lines of, "Okay, I've had enough of this. Time to go." And Mjolnir's response is, "Yes, it is. It's time to go. Now I'm going to kill you both." And Odin responds by basically saying, "I wasn't talking to you." And the view comes from above, and there's Lady Sif on the Rainbow Bridge and literally takes Mjolnir and puts him out to the furthest part of the Marvel Universe, and which Odin turns to Thor and says, "Now you're safe. Gather yourself. Mjolnir's gone beyond the great beyond. There's no maps to where Mjolnir has been sent." 3 seconds later, the hammer comes rushing back and just levels Thor and Odin, to which there's a massive chunk of Odin missing, kind of setting up, okay, now Odin's about to die again. And that's when this new spirit of Mjolnir stands up, and that's the character who I just said. So Donny Cates is being Donny Cates. Good luck with specking on this book.
So again, the chat lit up with it. Ignacio dropped in there, Pops dropped it in there. Yeah, Mangog is from Thor 154 and 19.
Okay, thanks, E.
And DC has Magog, which is like John said from the Hebrew Bible. He's a collective of his entire race, Hulk level power.
Three Maple Leafs out of 5. The battle, what Mjolnir was doing to Thor was just epic to see. Thor's got a big black eye. His arms now just splintered into pieces. Donny Cates is really just leveling the character. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing in the very near future, Thanos is going to show up. So I thought it was just okay. It's not as good as what the last issue was when Mjolnir makes a cameo at the end of.
So the hype was better than the reveal.
I didn't partake in the hype. But
the build-up was better than the finish.
So
the battle was really good, but now we have a brand new person or different entity wielding Mjolnir, and it kind of looks like
it sounds cool.
It's more than just one spirit. Mjolnir with something else more sinister attached to it in sort of a physical form that looks like moving light or lightning.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Let's talk about the greatest Superman ever.
Almost.
Reeve. No, I should say the greatest actor to play Superman.
There you go. Man, like this was an excellent wrap up. Like the 6 parts just come together perfectly. Like it feels like the perfect third movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way that they play what's his name? Brainiac. Like he seems like the perfect villain for the third Superman movie. They play him just like a 80s, like 80s third Superman movie villain would have been played. Like everything about it was just so good. It's so well done. Lex Luthor's in there, like being Lex Luthor. He even gets a great one-liner in there about property value in Metropolis. So it's like the property value is gonna crash. So yeah, this was a great wrap up. I like the way that the issue before it was like him kind of fighting like the minions, and so then Brainiac's like, oh no, it's gonna be me, and then in the final issue you get like the big fight with Brainiac, and then you get like a great resolution. You get Clark Kent back with Lois at the end, in Metropolis, like in the newsroom, and like again, just like playing that like Christopher Reeve Superman character versus his Clark Kent character. Like they just completely nail it once again. It's like the perfect wrap up. I don't know what to say about it other than like this could have been like the perfect third movie.
It had a very cinematic feel to the end as well. Like he's fighting Brainiac in the style, and I caught it. Like it was fought like it was a Chris Reeve movie. There was a lot of like when they locked up and there was a lot of banter. And there was 3 solid separate panels with them just locked up. It moved through multiple pages. There wasn't all those ginormous, large special effects budget stuff happening.
And they're in front of the city in the jar. And so like you get to see that perspective too of like his parents watching the man he's become, and like how cool would that have been to see like on the big screen,
And I thought it was awesome when he was beating Brainiac out of his body. And Brainiac was describing how he's a higher consciousness, that he doesn't require a body, that he can just move to another body. And when they go and dip out of Brainiac's ship, you have that moment when the villain's getting away, and you see the row of all these stagnant bodies, and you see the body turn on. And right when it turns on, the ship's been counting down 1, and he catches the timer right in that second just to get blown up, like he thought he was going to get away. And it was cool because there's a big chunk of Metropolis falling too. So you have the super feat by Superman at the end where he had to get under the city and push against it. It wasn't a soft landing. This isn't OP Superman, he took a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, he struggles all the way down.
It was really cool. Of course, Lex Luthor got away.
Of course.
At large. He is at large.
Yeah, because in this one, like he's on basically like parole. And so like, he's already been kind of like sneaky and stuff. And so of course in the end, he's like basically engineered his way to like escape from the eye of the law and stuff. So that sets up like an excellent Superman 78 2 or something. I don't know what they would call it from there, but yeah, I mean, like we had said earlier, like I would love, like I think it deserves a good break, but I would love to see like another like 6-issue run of this like next year or later this year or something.
Just as long as they don't feel like if they do it, they have to do another Batman 89, because that's been garbage.
Yeah, I only read that first issue and I was like, I'm not really into this, so.
Well, if anyone wants to pay for me saluting, have at it.
What would this? I don't know what this means. I need more.
Any thoughts on YouTube possibly allowing NFTs on the platform for creators, good, bad, or indifferent?
What do you mean by allowing NFTs for creators, though?
So I would now. So are you talking about images or videos themselves as the NFT?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It kind of depends on the implementation.
I think obviously the biggest channels like Aaron Paul, that kind of thing, that would be the one that would have any kind of potential value. I'm
indifferent. I don't think NFTs are in a
kind
place
of indifferent on it.
Yeah. Like I found out that there's Vivos, like that's like a really a common one you hear about where people buy comics from. They're not even able to be sold. You can only buy them. You can only own it. You're not able to. And at that point, you're just giving someone money for nothing because you're not able to then take a product and turn it back into money. It's just a one-way transaction. I found out that platform's NFT comics are not transferable or whatever. You know what I mean? You're not able to put them back out to sell them.
Yeah.
So what the heck
as
is
a source of revenue? So are you meaning if we create a video, can we just basically take it out there or just take it and sell it instead of putting it on here and potentially, like for Mark, for example, and potentially monetizing that video? Would it just be a one-time sale where then the video is taken from Mark's channel and then owned by someone else and potentially sell somewhere else to make money off of it?
I don't know. I think it would require me looking into it even to be able to formulate a proper.
I would need to be a little educated, a little bit more on it. Yeah.
My answer is yes. NFTs are it's a first generation technology at this point, and there's no evolution to anything if we just like hide it away until it's perfect. Like it's never going to be perfect. Bluetooth, the way that we use it today, is not how it was invented to be used. But through use cases, it evolved and the technology changed, and we found ways to use it. And so that's anything. NFTs, like the way that we think of them currently is like, oh, here's an image that's worth money or a video that's worth money. Really, the benefit of an NFT is the underlying technology, because it essentially allows like a digital, it creates like a unique digital token. And so what can be done with that is like infinite. If you rent a car, for instance, they could they could send you the NFT. And so the code that's built into the base technology of that NFT, having it on your phone allows you to unlock the car and start it. Like it basically gives you a temporary fob, and they don't have to worry about you returning it because they can set a timer on it. So after 48 hours that you've paid for, the NFT on your phone basically dissolves, and now you don't have access to the rental car anymore. You're locked out. They go pick it up. So there's like 1,000,000,001 uses. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and they were like, some of these like musicians and stuff, right? They could basically sell an NFT that would allow you to get into their concerts, and you pay like some massive fee. Like for $5,000, you can go to like any of my concerts anytime, and then you only sell like 300 of these NFTs. So you have like this life, like these hardcore fans, that have bought into your brand. And if they get tired of you, they can take and sell that NFT to somebody else, And so like you kind of like create this like secret society sort of thing around yourself. Like there's so many things that we can do with NFTs, but we're never really going to get there as long as it's like this primitive technology that's not anywhere. So like I think like all the legal contracts and stuff for YouTube have to be in place, but at the end of the day, like implement it and let people figure out ways to use it creatively.
Like I understand the idea of like a one-of-a-kind unique digital code or token, but when it comes to digital, like that's just like the most unsecure thing that's ever existed. You know what I mean? Like whether it be banking stuff, like granted it's different now, but how long will it take
NFTs
for that?
Exist on the blockchain. It's a much different level of security.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But how long will that level of security be that secure when it becomes something that's more commonplace? That means that the same, you know what I mean? Like it just sounds unnecessarily risky. I'm not saying that it's useless by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that, for mundane stuff like concert tickets, like just using that as an example, I don't think you'd have to worry about somebody stealing your Jonas Brothers tickets because who's really going to try that hard? You know what I mean? For that specific item,
Are they even a band anymore?
I don't know.
Like I thought, you
can even look at it as like from the perspective of like ticket scalping.
One Direction tickets.
Yeah, like even from the perspective of ticket scalping, like you got to ensure that that your tokens are unique and that people aren't figuring out ways to crack them and create their own. So they're going on sale, we'll just like counterfeit digital tokens. But that's the benefit of the blockchain, is that it basically creates innumerable amounts of records that makes it almost impossible to replicate or crack that kind of security. Doesn't mean it's impossible, and we'll have to see how things evolve, because I'm sure counterfeiters will figure that kind of stuff out. But the blockchain is pretty secure, and I think like you have to look at it like Web 3.0. This is where things are headed. Like cryptocurrency is not necessarily like for us. Like we are beyond that, right? But like my kids, if I tell them, hey, like clean up your room and I'll give you $5, they're like, oh, okay, I'll get to it. But if I'm like, clean up your room and I'll give you 500 Robux or V-Bucks or whatever, like they're on it because they understand the value of digital currencies better than real life currencies. And I think that's where Web 3.0 is really going to kick in.
Until they can drive.
Oh, I think Mars hit the nail on the head. Her most recent one. Yes, technology evolves, and the hackers evolve as well.
Yeah, that's how we discovered Neo. He was a hacker,
right?
Now he's the one. Well, now he's half of the one.
Yeah.
Now he's the 0.5. Action Comics, I want to wait on until Ryan gets caught up because I don't want to, this book just continues to be good.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait on this one as well because I want Ryan to read this.
Oh, yeah. I need to read that one.
Are you trying to Tiger Claw me, Chris?
No, Carlito's there just saying, what's up?
Oh, boom. The man himself, Carlito Classico. Oh, hey. Boom. It's three of my favorite people. Hope you're having a good night, Carlito. Still haven't watched the new Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're better off watching.
You are missing out on a fantastic movie.
Don't do that. Don't do
not sell yourself short in life and never see it.
No,
that's one way to lose a channel member.
Program right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's a channel member. Do not watch. I'm just kidding. Watch at your own risk. I enjoyed it. I understand everyone's complaints with it. It had numerous faults. But it was like one of those perfect settings for me. Like it was on a Wednesday night when me and my wife do our hang out, watch a movie or show night. And we've both watched the Matrix trilogy countless times. And it was just fun just to hear that dialogue going again, man, and not knowing what they're going to say next. And it was just, that aspect of it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, but you can get that from any Tarantino film as well. It's just basically Neo riding around on the back of a speed bike doing Jedi stuff. Man.
Yeah, the end wasn't that great, but getting to the end was enjoyable. I liked.
I thought the first half. I could probably rewatch the first half, the last half of that movie. Like his new power sucks. Just like watching him get carried around on a motorcycle sucked. Yeah. The wire work looked awful. Yeah. Yeah. I think Cobra Kai has better visual effects and choreography than the movie.
John Wick had me into the flashbacks and didn't. Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to get into it. It wasn't a good movie, but it's worth a watch.
Yeah, the first half's pretty solid.
Did you guys watch Mandalorian?
I did. I watched The Mandalorian masked as the Book of Boba Fett. As soon as that music started, I'm like, woo, woo. All right,
it's gonna be a good intro, time. Man. The intro was Mando walking into a bar, firing up the darksaber and just slaughtering, dude.
Yeah, and maiming himself because he has no idea.
It's like
what
the most recent episode or something.
Yes, of Boba Fett. Boba Fett wasn't in it, so it was fantastic.
I was gonna say because this is the first positive review I've heard of this show.
Yeah, and it's only because it was a Mandalorian episode. So the last episode of Boba Fett, we had Boba say, we're going to need backup, and they played the Mandalorian music. So we kind of expected to see Mando in this episode. So the entire episode was just kind of like seeing Mando doing his job, like he's a bounty hunter. He's bounty hunting. And then he goes back to the mechanic that's helped him in previous episodes and was trying to get the Razor's Crest repaired, and he got nowhere on that. And she showed him the starfighter that Anakin drove in episode 1 at the end of the movie, the yellow twin-engine starfighter that him and R2 drove around, right?
Not and practical, but is still cool.
She was working on building one herself. She found it scrapped, and so we get this long montage of her building it with her just nonstop Tarantino-style machine gun dialogue, just being – it gets to a point of excess, and you're just like, this is somehow really enjoyable. And then you see him take it out for a joyride. And they even call back to the 2 rebel squad leaders from the frozen ice planet that earlier. And they pull up to him like, hey, well, we scanned your vehicle. We're not getting proper plates on it, basically. He's like, yeah, just got it running, just hanging out for a test spin. And one of the guys like, I recognize your voice. You weren't on planet da-da-da-da-da recently. He goes, no, you got me mistaken, man. So like, and then
the look.
Yeah, he gives him the look, and he ends up just firing it up, and all cylinders just taking off. It has just sub light speed, pretty much. It can pretty much do light speed without hitting light speed. But it was a great scene, tons of callbacks, and we get some cool dialogue where he wants to go see Grogu. He's fine. He's happy hearing that the kid's happy. He should be safe, but he needs to go see for himself, which makes me happy because in a household with children and as well as myself, Baby Yoda is like everyone's favorite. That little joker, like it's got to stick around, Happy it's gone off with Luke. This gives us another excuse to see Luke, maybe. I don't know. But Boba Fett's assistant, I forget her name, she shows up at the tail end saying, hey, me and Boba need your help. We'll pay you. He said, no, this is on the house. And that's where it leaves us. So the next episode is going to be leading up to that big battle, where they're trying to just clear the planet for Boba because he's incapable.
Yeah, I thought it was a very nice, quiet homage to Episode 1. When he first takes Anakin's Starfighter out for a test spin. He takes it literally through the canyons where Anakin did the pod race through Episode 1, and he has, even when he turns it, I was like, that's exactly what Anakin did.
It was so good.
So yeah, they took the enjoyable parts of Episode 1 and gave it that, just for nostalgic reasons. They kind of uplifted that movie that everyone really pans on. So I thought it was nice. I thought it was a real good job. I kind of remember someone on someone's channel was like, we need the Mandalorian to save Boba Fett. And whoever said that hit the nail on the head. It was really, really well done.
That's interesting.
Can we talk
I've
about
heard
the best
nothing but
intro
complaints about it
in TV today? I don't know what Mark's doing, but yeah.
I was responding to Carlito. I just saw where he said he watched Big Trouble in Little China for the first time, which blows my mind because that's
really
staple to my childhood. So I had to put in there, old Jack Burton is the best sidekick in movie history. I've never seen somebody fall up so well in their life.
Talk about failing forward.
It's the movie that made me realize, hey, green eyes are kind of cool. But anyways, yeah.
This man is saying, now this is pod racing. That would have been perfect.
Nobody should ever say that.
Well, the thing is, this ship is not practical whatsoever for a bounty hunter. It's literally he's just getting in just a single cockpit. He can't move around.
I wonder if he's going to get a droid now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe this is just going to be for the end. It is a fighter. They're about to be doing some fighting. So
yeah, he may end up trading it, or maybe
Boba Fett
will give him his old ship. Who knows?
Yeah, room for a carbonite villain. Nothing.
Nah. Yeah.
Green eyes are green eyes. Yeah. That's the way to go. My wife has green eyes.
Oh. That's the rarest of them.
What is going on, Film Age Studios? How are you doing? Let's see. Peacemaker episode 5 dropped this week. This show does not let you down. Ryan, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I watched it on my lunch break Thursday. I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to watch this, but I am not missing out. It was.
So what do you think of this episode?
This was really good because it feels like all of the characters, all of their threads are kind of showing themselves, and to jump to the end, she kind of discovers him, and it's and then how she gets involved in all of that, I thought was great. Whenever they go in the warehouse and stuff, and Vigilante really comes into his own in this episode, and
the whole team comes together.
Diebeard.
Finally, they're
finally together.
So
it's one of those things. I don't feel like threads are necessarily coming together, but threads are really showing themselves. Now it feels like each character is really developed enough to kind of carry their own weight in the story, and so you're kind of seeing threads cross and stuff, but it's still not necessarily they're coming together as much as we're finally getting some true characterizations out of everybody instead of just
not only
a
have we
handful
had
of
time
people.
to kind of get used to the series, the characters inside of the series at the same time are getting used to each other, where they all clash. Everybody's personalities clash. We're actually seeing how they have to get along. They still have to work together. So we're seeing those clashing personalities in those moments where something outrageous might cause one of them to grin, that old vigilante. They're kind of getting used to each other. It was cool. It was kind of a cool down episode, even though there was a big action sequence in it. When it came to plot progression and the team, we got a little hint that we were going to this bottling factory in the last episode. So they're going to go. They're following a lead. They got an idea that this bottling factory is where all the fluid that the butterflies were seen drinking or ingesting is being made at. So they go to investigate that. And there was this awesome scene where they were pre-planning, worst pre-planning squad ever. Ever. Or was it the best?
Yeah.
It could have been the best.
X-ray goggles. Yeah.
Yeah. Diebeard had a PowerPoint he put together, and they rolled out like the middle school TV setup and were playing it.
It was good though.
It turned out to be so on point. So they were just giving Diebeard the business for how goofy, crappy it was edited. Like they even
PowerPoint skills suck.
Yeah, they're making fun of him for including a gorilla on it, and I forgot why he even included the gorilla.
But it played into it though.
Yeah, they
beautiful.
Talk about how these butterflies can potentially get into any of your orifices. So it had arrows pointing at your ear, mouth, and your rectum, and like John Cena gave him the business, man, about that thing. Like he went off on him for he finally got all the anger out for him framing his dad, and Diebeard was defensive, saying, I couldn't think of anybody else, and John Cena went down a Mark Wahlberg and Ted level list of names.
Right.
It was hilarious. But they get to the factory. John Cena gets the opportunity to rock another one of his helmets. We know that he took all of his helmets from his dad's subspace multidimensional closet. And this one was X-ray vision.
Have one?
Maybe. So he puts it on, and he's going in right next to, I forget how to say her name. It's Amanda Waller's daughter.
Leota?
No, I don't think that's right. Is that the actress's name?
No. Well, her last name is Adebayo.
Adebayo, yeah.
Yeah, Adebayo.
Yeah, her first name is Leota, though.
That's
Leota Adebayo.
Oh, Ray Liotta, I can remember that.
Yeah.
So he goes. They break off, and you have Harcourt with Vigilante, Leota with Peacemaker, and they go in, and she's like, "Play it cool now, play it cool." And he walks in like, "I got this." Big old shotgun, turns his X-ray visions on. She walks up to the nice lady at the receptionist, and starts talking to her. Her head just explodes.
It's like, can you give me a signal or something?
He's a
X-ray
goggles or whatever, and it just goes red like what Superman can see, and he is just a one-man wrecking crew, and his weapons are fantastic, and it's just like
the grenade
no
scene,
one's getting
amazing.
close to him. Like they're jumping up on high, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. Like it's like he turned it into a video game. It was so much
he really
fun.
did.
So much.
It reminded me of the Doom movie. Whenever at the end, whenever he goes through all like first person style.
Yeah. Carl Urban goes first person shooter on him.
Yeah.
Film Age Studio said he thinks Mr. Mind is the big baddie. I don't know. I can't. After seeing the clips for the next episode, I don't think so. Mr. Mind's like a one-man show, and they teased him in Shazam at the end of Shazam. That was a little worm that can mind control people. That's more mind control. I don't think that they would burn that Shazam property for this, being that they already introduced him in the Shazam movie and even used him in the cliffhanger. I would expect to see something of him in the Fury of the Gods, believe it or not. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a part to play in that. But he is an insect villain. But they go through, they clear house, and Harcourt and Vigilante get attacked by something big. They go, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And you see something growl and attack them. And we get there, and there's an actual infected gorilla, as promised in the slideshow. And not to mention, before they went in the warehouse, they're all arming up, and Vigilante attempted to take a chainsaw in with him, and they shot him down. There's no way you need a chainsaw, not a chance. And this gorilla's beating everyone up. I mean, they're giving it a good fight, but it's beating everyone up. And then out of nowhere, out of left field, it just stops, and you hear the engine revving, and the chainsaw comes out its chest. And old Diebeard came in for the win. Diebeard showed up with chainsaw and took out the big bad of the episode. So he's taking out Judo Master. He's taking out the butterfly gorilla. Like he's the ultimate dude in this series so far. Like it's impressive.
Yeah.
Do y'all listen to the podcast? No. They basically they have like one of the actors on every episode. The first episode being James Gunn himself, but the podcast episode for this episode of the show, they had the guy that plays Diebeard, and so like he kind of talked about that stuff. Like, you know, whenever I realized that I was gonna get to like chainsaw a gorilla, it was just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. until you realize like they use like that cornstarch blood and stuff, you know. And he's like, so like then you have to do all these reshoots and stuff, and they have to like put this blood on you, and like you're sitting there forever with like getting all sticky and stuff. And so they were like, so he was talking about the scene with John Cena whenever he's just like rambling stuff, you know. And apparently the way that they wrote that scene, like it was like basically say like Miley Cyrus or somebody else. And like instead John Cena just like rolled with it. And then what's his name? James Gunn is like, oh, this is great. Like, let's do it. And so just to get that one scene, he said it was like 2 hours of them sitting there and just doing take after take. And John Cena was just like naming these names off the top of his head. Like that was all improv, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of ad lib in this show.
Yes.
And that's what works the best for it. And that's what, like, John Cena is shockingly good at doing this stuff.
Oh, amazing.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like,
he was
apparently
good on
all
the
like
mic in wrestling too, so yeah, it's naturally there.
Yeah. Apparently a lot of the like weird sexual stuff and all that is like John Cena too. Like it wasn't quite written that far, but like he's the one that's willing to push it that far. And they're like, let's go with it. Like this, you know, like John Cena's just like doing great with this show and this character, you know.
Dude, he's top notch.
It just goes to show then how cool of a director James Gunn is if he's letting these actors ad lib into it, and then it ends up being in the final cut. Like that, like good for James Gunn. You know,
Yeah.
for letting it happen. I'm sure
Yeah,
the
apparently
the writers are not happy.
Yeah, and you know, like they greenlit the second season of the show before the first season even came out. That like that's how confident they were in it. And
I thought it was just this week they announced it.
No, just this week they announced that season 2 is looking good, and they're in the embryonic stages of a second spin-off series based off of a different Suicide Squad character. There's an article that I read that they're optimistic for a second season at the moment for this. I haven't.
No, whenever Warner Brothers executives saw the cuts of the first season, they greenlit a second season. Now it's in development still. It's not, they didn't go into production yet, but they had already decided like what we're seeing of season 1 is good enough. We're confident this deserves a season 2. And then, yeah, this week the news came out that James Gunn also wants to do another spin-off series out of all of this with a different character. So
Yeah, I would like to see both of those things happen. And I wonder if using the gorilla in this episode like is kind of like an unfortunate hint for what Panda's talking about. If Eagle gets hit with a butterfly, like we now know that it's beyond just humans. Like there's two things that I don't think any fan wants to see happen, and that's anything of harm come to Eagle. He's clearly the heart and soul of the team. He's the spirit of an entire country. And we don't want to see anything happen to Vigilante.
Well, one of the two is not going to make it. As a resident of not that country that you speak of, one of the two are not going to make it.
This was the episode that had the scene where they're sitting on the porch with Eagle, right? Where John Cena's sitting there with them. Yeah. He like flies off and gets the like. How good was that? You know,
he's trying to cheer him up.
Hey, man,
he's like, no, thank you. That's fine. You can have it. I'm a pass.
This is for you, my man. I feel bad for you. Yeah. Here you go.
So at the end of the episode, we find out that Leota puts on Peacemaker's helmet, turns on the X-ray vision, just playing with it. She's just in the office alone with Munns, and she turns and looks, and she finds out that the leader of this micro Suicide Squad team has got a butterfly in his head, and he jumps up. She runs out, and he gets her. He goes to get her. She falls down, and he reaches for her, and that's where it cuts off. That was the end of the episode, and I think that he was probably trying to stop her from killing him, and that he's not a bad guy. I don't think that a butterfly equals a bad guy. I think that there's going to be an entire like race of these butterflies, a whole species, alien species, and they're not all on the same side with each other, possibly.
Well, I know her mom is not going to agree.
I don't know. Her mom, whatever her mom and her have going on, the rest of the team are completely unaware of. So we don't even know what their actual prime objective is because they aren't even aware that they're on it. So I'm ready for that twist to it. See what Amanda's really up to. What is going on, Sassy Cajun? Appreciate you hopping in. we're getting to the tail end of this for tonight. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to touch on before we dip out of here? We've been going for just over 2 hours, and tomorrow is Monday.
James Gunn did touch a little bit on Volume 3 for Guardians of the Galaxy, basically saying that this is the last time we're going to see this lineup for Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people took it negatively, that we're going to have some of these characters for Guardians end up dying or something. Like, we all know James Gunn is not afraid to kill off his characters. However, he's got to get permission from Feige for that to happen. I just think some of these characters may kind of go into semi-retirement. Like Drax may end up going into semi-retirement. But it did kind of leave it open that there will be another Guardians lineup. So we'll see. That's the only thing.
Batista's already said that he's done with it.
Yeah.
So, like, we know that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Pratt drops out as well.
No, he did kind of ruin it with Thanos, so. None of that really had to happen. He didn't dummy him, but anyways.
Right. Too emotional.
The gauntlet was coming off. Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys hopping on tonight. And as a reminder to everybody, be sure to go check out the Comic Vex channel. Go check out that 600 subscriber giveaway entry video he just posted. And be sure to sub him up. He's definitely a fun channel if you enjoy hanging out. A lot of the regulars that you see in this chat and on this panel tonight are over there on his channel every Wednesday evening time, hanging out live, just kicking back and talking comics, and as well as he has numerous videos drop each week. And Ryan is still on social media hiatus for all I know.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Family first.
And good news, Carlito wants to come on a Wednesday.
All right, man. The invitation's always there.
I just want this new Spawn movie, man. When can I get that night? When Todd backs off. That's crazy to say, but Todd is not budging. He wants 100% creator control and even to direct the film. I don't think that would necessarily be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on who he has helping him, because it's not a one-man operation. So it depends on who's there with him, helping him make this vision come to life. He cannot do it all himself. He's a comic creator. He's a toy manufacturer, and he's fantastic at those things. It doesn't mean you can direct a film. There's a lot more that goes into something like that. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's definitely been a fun ride getting there. Pushing for 1,500. I'm thinking about like 1,280, 1,281, something like that. So pushing for 1,500. The next celebration will be at that point. I'm already starting to gather some things. I'm not going to go as big and crazy as I did for the 1K. There was a lot of help involved in that. But yeah. Thank you guys for everyone popping in the chat. I do want to give a big shout out and thank you to the channel members. We got a hearty helping of channel members for this channel. I think it's up to like 56 or something like that. I just counted checked the numbers right before I went live. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you see names on these boards that you are not familiar with, be sure to hit pause, look them up on here on YouTube or either on Instagram. There's a good number of content creators on there. And if they're not creating content on YouTube, you can at least find them on Instagram. And be sure to follow them, sub them up, check them out, see what they got going on. A lot of great people in this community. So until next time, guys, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.